Yeah, it's us again, Mike. Oh, my mic this time. It's us again. We're back. We're bad. It's the day before election day.
Yeah, you know who died last night?
Yes, we lost Quincy Jones, a true
Quincy
giant of the
Jones.
recording industry.
Let,
Active until he died.
let me tell you what. Well, he was 91 years old.
Yeah,
He was about 13 years older than you, Elga.
yeah. Scary, 13 years older than me. 91, which makes me fucking old.
78. Yeah.
Living on borrowed
Well,
time.
I look at it like this. I'm 68, but I'm cruising now. I'm cruising.
But what's nice is I'm a lady now.
Yeah, we are.
I'm not that ugly old man
Yeah,
that
we
wrote
are.
that wrote a love story to two love stories to Tennessee, and did commercials for Mohegan Sun.
Well, I was getting ready to tell you about Quincy Jones. I've done probably 642 interviews, 640, 41, 42 interviews in all the years I've been on radio, TV. But anyway, Quincy Jones, I went up to where they were recording We Are the World in New York, and he knew I was coming. So I told him, I said I'm here, and I gave him my card, and we went to go do the interview, and he goes, after about 12 minutes, he goes, okay, well, thank you a bunch. I said, I looked at him like, he goes, like this. He goes, I said, what did I do? Like, I thought I did something wrong.
Yeah,
And he says, no, it's not you. It's just me. All my time is taken. So, so I got about 12 minutes on the interview with him. And 13 minutes I didn't have.
and he was probably really generous, and he did the interview too. That's his nature.
I interviewed a lot of people.
What was he like
Quincy,
as far as an interviewing style?
he was very nice. He was very well spoken. One thing people don't understand. People like Donald Trump look at black people and they go, "Oh, they're not intelligent. You're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot."
$1 billion recording empire. Think about that. A billion, a humble black man from Detroit, from the Poe side of town, founded $1 billion recording empire.
He wrote some great songs.
Oh, he was a
Some
great
great
songwriter.
songs.
Not only that, but he attracted top shelf talent.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure
he
did.
pulled in Diana Ross and the Supremes.
I did. I did. I interviewed Huey Lewis with him then. Huey was on the We Are the World recording. Diana Ross. Uh,
Aretha,
um,
Four
if you
Tops,
had just said it,
Martha and the
I'd have spit it
Vandellas,
right out right then. No, Tina Turner.
Tina Turner, Dionne Warwick.
Everybody. It seems like everybody that was tied to him, I interviewed over about 3 years from 85 to 80, no, 84 to 87. Just everybody. No. But you really start thinking about it when you interview people, and this person is tied to this person and this person's tied to this person. It just blows my mind.
I mean, the 60s and 70s danced and lived to the rhythm and music of Quincy Jones.
Yeah. Definitely dance.
The GIs on military posts lived for Quincy Jones and new Quincy Jones recordings. I mean, I, as a ex-GI, am grateful to the wonderful music that he produced.
Isn't it weird that? Well, I was only a year behind getting drafted and going to Vietnam. I was just a year. I missed that by a year. A year.
I mean, we'd be sitting in the track park pulling maintenance on the APCs. We'd have the Armed Forces Network on the radio on the APC.
Yeah.
Listen to the Supremes.
Supremes.
Oh yeah, or Aretha, or Martha and the Vandellas. I mean,
there are so many people that are tied to him. It's not even
or
funny.
The Box Tops.
Yeah, Box Tops.
I mean, and he didn't care what color his artists were either. It wasn't truly just a black enterprise. Well, he was equal opportunity. If you had talent and he liked what you were doing,
I just said something that made a lot of sense. A lot of people see black people and they think, oh, well, low level intelligent.
We both know that's bullshit.
That's bullshit. That's never the case. As a matter of fact, most of the black people that I know are higher intelligent than Donald Trump and his buddies.
Well, the main problem is there's been this myth going around since the days of slavery. These people were farm equipment.
No.
When these people were smart enough to live with the paltry pickings that were given by the slave owners, live halfway decently in horrendously oppressive conditions. I mean, there's nothing smarter than a motivated black woman.
We go tomorrow. Tomorrow is the election. Now we tell you that for a reason. We're not going to harp on one candidate or another candidate. But yesterday, Saturday night at 7:00, Ann Salters, who is the chief columnist with the Des Moines Register, put out a poll. And she's been right for 30 straight years. 30 years. She just takes all the things that are written and are part of that poll. She puts them all in together and they just form a big jumbo salad like, and not jumbo.
Kamala's ground game, just the ground game alone. She took a page out of Barack Obama's book and got thousands and thousands of people to go out and walk, knock, and talk.
Listen to this.
My friend Dina Walters almost lost her voice. She spent the last 2 months walking, knocking, and talking for Kamala.
Listen to this. 880,000 is how many people she got in front of Saturday. 880,000. It's a record. Kamala got in front of and gave voice to Saturday.
She's
That's
giving
amazing.
us a message of hope instead of a message of despair and hate.
And get this.
And revenge.
Donald Trump wants to lose.
He wants to lose so he can claim the election as
why else would he do what he's doing?
So he can pull a coup. He has no intention of winning the election.
And something else I heard Saturday night. Donald Trump right now, who's in charge of his ground game? Elon Musk. Elon Musk
is trying to do it entirely on X. He's not walking.
It's not working.
There's no campaign literature on people's doorsteps when people are walking, knocking, and talking
It's not working.
to
It's
voters.
not working. You can't bypass doing the work.
You got to do the ground game. You got to walk, knock, and talk. That's how you win a political campaign. Kamala's got thousands and thousands of people out there canvassing. The only reason I'm not out there canvassing is I'm 78 years old and I have a whole bunch of other shit that I'm doing. Basically supporting Kamala.
I have friends that are big Trump supporters. I have my friends in South Carolina, Linda and Rich in Charleston. They're all my friends, and I care about them. They're not my enemies.
We must have hit a nerve because somebody silenced both us and JJ. JJ gave us our reach, so they silenced JJ. First, they kicked him off of Twitter. They found out they could kick him off Twitter. I think Musk had a hand in that. And then they corrupted both of our YouTube channels because I think we hit a nerve. I mean, we busted our ass. I've been busting my ass since 26.
The Des Moines Register. She's not a Republican. She's not a Democrat. She just does polls. And she said this poll, it's older women right now that are just taking over. And that's why Kamala Harris is going to win the election. I don't really say that very, very much.
If we get the women's vote, Hispanic vote, and black vote, we're gonna, and hopefully she's got long coattails because she needs a cooperative Congress. So when you go out in the voting booth tomorrow or today, you can do it because a lot of states still have early voting.
Yeah, today's the last.
You look
day.
at the ballot, the top line of the ballot, which is the Democratic line. You check them all. You don't go anywhere else on the ballot. Check them all. Because most of the Republicans, even though they don't say they're MAGA, are tainted. If they moved in lockstep with the Supreme Court justice nominations or the impeachment, they need to go. We need a serious majority in both the House
think about
and the
this,
Senate.
Helga. For 50 years, I was a dyed-in-the-wool red Republican.
Yeah.
I got out of prison. Guess what I did in 2012?
You changed parties.
I changed parties. My mother asked me, she goes, who's that guy right there? She's talking about Trump. I said, that's Donald Trump. She goes, oh.
I go clear back to LBJ. I was hanging literature on doorknobs for the LBJ primary, Pennsylvania. He lost to Kennedy, but I was hanging LBJ stuff on doorknobs in 1959.
I didn't know enough about LBJ and
my dad loved
Kennedy. And you know, I didn't really know that much about Kennedy either because I was young. But 1960, the height of the civil rights movement, I was there for that part of it. It was my father and all the people. We lived in Greensboro, North Carolina then. And the four guys got the lunch counter in Woolworths. I remember all of that. All of that. And you know what TV show was big that year? Do, 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 do. Da-na-na.
The Parallax.
I love that.
My favorite lawyer show still. Raymond Burr did a good job.
Yeah, he did.
You know.
He's dead now, isn't he?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he died of AIDS.
Really?
I think he died of AIDS. He was gay. He was faithful. He was faithful gay. I don't think his boyfriend was though. He died prematurely.
That's a shame.
Yeah, lost a lot of really great talent. We lost Ross Hudson to AIDS early in the epidemic. You know, it's amazing who was gay in Hollywood. You know,
But tomorrow is election day. So you got one more day. You got today and tomorrow. You can't vote both. You have to vote either.
yeah, you vote today or you vote tomorrow, but you got to get out there and do it. Every vote counts, especially you people in the battleground states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin,
Well, they were talking about on
Arizona.
Morning Joe. They said, it seems like Donald Trump, every time he gets a little windfall, he doesn't like that. He likes to struggle.
Well, he wants to do it. He wants to be a strong man. He wants to do it, like strong men do it. He wants to pull a Hitler or a Putin or
Guess what? Nobody's going to vote for him.
No, they're
No
they're they're
one.
they're diehards that double down because they don't like to admit that they're wrong. We've got a lot of diehards, and he's still got his army of black shirted thugs because they think he gets into power, they'll have power to bust heads, and that's what they like to do.
You know something? I'll tell you the truth. Look at Helga and I, and you'd be very sorely mistaken if you think you could take advantage of us.
We've been around, and I've
You
been in
have
I've been in the
no
smoke I've
idea.
been in the smoke filled back rooms. I've walked, knocked, and talked. I've hauled people to the polls. I've sat on the phone banks for hours at a time. And I've been doing it for years.
You people are not the enemy. You're just fucking obstructions for us, and we're obstructions for you.
Now think about it. Republican Congress, since the Obama years, have not been able to pass a budget. They've obstructed budgets. They have not been able to pass very much legislation. They try to obstruct it. We had a really, really, really good border bill. But Trump said squash the border bill so he could use it to run on. So they did. So all these people that march in lockstep to Donald Trump need to go.
So look at it like this. He doesn't win the election and he loses automatically.
And none of that, but most of the people in his inner circle that are still with him, and most of the people in Congress that have supported him over the years,
Nikki
should be in
Haley,
jail.
my governor, because she was my governor where I lived before, she says Donald Trump has never won anything.
No,
She was correct in that
he
assumption.
didn't even win the election of 2016, really. Hillary had the popular vote. That's why we seriously need to think about amending the Constitution to get rid of the Electoral College. And while we're at it, we need to take a serious look at various provisions in the 13th and 14th Amendments that allow free convict labor, because that's still slavery. And there's a lot. That's the reason the sunset laws and
I
the
know
Jim
all
Crow
about those
laws
laws.
is to fill the prisons, so that you had free labor. The South hasn't given up
They
the
give
idea of
people they give
slavery
people
yet.
like us jobs. We don't get paid, but we get jobs.
Yeah, and nobody should spend more than a week in SEG ever.
I spent 14 months of my life there. And if anybody knows anything about a segregated place, that's cruel and unusual punishment.
I did 2 weeks in a hole in a county jail,
14 months for me.
and then they got us before a judge. I wasn't even arraigned when they threw me in the hole. I wasn't even arraigned when they threw me in the hole. The judge took a look at the case, threw it out of court, and censured the sheriff's department for picking up tourists and throwing them in jail. And I got a Vista volunteer to help us get back on the road.
Let's see,
They helped me
Saturday.
register my truck. They filled my gas tank, and they fed us, gave us fresh clothing because we had to burn our clothing because we got crabs. I mean, this was 12 people that the Vista volunteer had to take care of to get us back on the road. We were delayed for a month and a half. We got to Santa Rosa just in time to watch the Apollo land on the moon. We left New York on May 22nd.
4 months to get to LA.
Oh, we spent a long period of time. Santa Rosa. That's up in the wine country. But that's because we were in jail in Tulsa. And we didn't even get arraigned until they let us out of the hole. I have an advantage over most other people. They put me on seg. If I'm not stimulated, I go to sleep. A combination of my ADD and narcolepsy. I just simply shut down and go somewhere else. So I can make a week in the hole disappear like that. Time just simply stops existing. I just simply go to sleep, wake up to eat, because they have to kick me to wake me up. Too many head injuries. But that's the advantage you get from battered childhood. But they never did figure out who beat up the deputy sheriff, because he was outside the cell and everybody was inside the cell, and there's no evidence of a jailbreak. And the deputy sheriff was in no condition to say who did it.
You hear that cat meow 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 sitting at the door.
That's Josh's phone.
What?
That's Josh's phone.
No way.
Josh is down the end of the street. Josh has two phones. He's got a burner phone. He's got a regular phone. That's his burner phone ran.
What's he have a burner phone for?
Because he has a burner phone. I have a burner phone. See, I have a burner phone too. Everybody should have a burner phone.
I got one.
You got to get hooked up again.
No. I've got an iPhone here.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
I got my iPhone too. See? But you got to get out there and vote, because I'm tired of walking around with a target on my back. And ever since Trump came down the escalator, I've had a target on my back. There are 13 states that I can't stop in to use the bathroom. I went through that in Tulsa. We stopped to use the bathroom and fill our gas tank. And I never got my gas tank filled. They didn't search the truck, obviously, because the gun that I took off of Carlos was still safely underneath the seat.
Where?
Huh?
Where?
In Tulsa. They didn't search the truck in
You
Tulsa.
sure there's still underneath the seat? You
No,
might not know.
I threw it over the railing of the Golden Gate Bridge, along with another gun that somebody who tried to do a carjacking left in the truck when he fell out of the back of the truck when I turned up Knob Hill and pegged the gas pedal, and the latch on the back door didn't hold, and he fell out the back, and the gun landed in the truck. So that was underneath the seat until I took them both and threw them in San Francisco Bay. because God knows what crimes those two guns were involved in.
So don't forget to vote. Please don't forget to vote. I mean, I'm telling you to vote regardless of who you're going to vote
Yeah,
for.
we don't care who you vote for. Just express your opinion. That's what the vote is for. We want as big a voter turnout as possible. We want to prove once and for all that America doesn't elect charlatans to the highest
You know
office
what, Helga?
voluntarily.
When we vote, we win.
When you vote, you win. Now that's the cat.
That's what I was just
Now
talking
that's the
about.
cat. That's I know which cat that is.
That's
That's
Missy.
Missy. And Missy's meowing at Josh's door, not mine.
Hmm.
Missy knows she's not allowed in here.
Every now and then, some cat that we have, some female cat that we have, is gonna have babies because it happens about every
We got 3
6 weeks.
of the cutest little kittens in our pantry. They're going to be available in another 4 weeks. We have free kittens again in another 4 weeks, and they're so cute. And we got 2 striped ones and a calico. And that calico, she's pretty. She's the runt of the litter. She's going to grow up to be about the same size as Mama Cat. And then the 2 tomcats are going to be huge. They're going to be big because they were big as kittens. They were big as newborns.
Should we discuss what we talked about yesterday?
About
A lot of people are having trouble going to church now. If you're like us, it's because you're trans
or gay.
or gay or whatever. And you realize that nobody is on your side but you.
Nobody really wants to talk to. Well, me,
But you.
I'm so gregarious. I get along just about everybody, and I'm so damn friendly. They can't say no to me. Lisa's still got PTSD from prison.
Yeah, I do.
Really bad PTSD. So she has troubles interacting with people now. I mean, it's she went from a radio host to talk to absolutely everybody to somebody who just wants to get out of crowded situations as quickly as possible. She doesn't stay behind and socialize. If she stayed behind and socialize, I think she'd be better accepted.
Well, here's my problem. I like this girl. And I made the mistake of letting her know it. Don't ever let anybody know you like them.
Well, you can't let unrequited love throw you off the tracks. And that's what's happened to you. Church is a good social thing. I mean, most of the things involved with the rituals of religion and the whole concept of religion, I take with a huge grain of salt because I've seen
There
the other
are so
side.
many people that may like you, but they don't like what you stand for.
Well, in my case, I kind of keep I've learned how to keep a lot of my opinions to myself.
Helga,
I give the ritual lip service.
for us, no matter where we go, somebody knows what we stand for.
Yeah. And they don't like the fact that at the final analysis, we're two-faced. We can't help it. We got we've lived with 2 separate personalities inside us. And well, I knew that I had actual almost what you would call documentation of being two-spirit when I was 15. I had a Cherokee medicine woman read my totem. And not only was I two-spirited, but I was very powerful two-spirited. It basically qualified me to be a shaman in the tribe. Still haven't learned Cherokee yet. It's a beautiful language. It's really a musical language. But I'd never had a mentor to teach it to me because
I've never had anybody teach me anything.
Annie only had a passing knowledge of it. She had just enough to do rituals. Yeah, she knew enough Cherokee to do rituals, and that was about it. Um, she was also a member of our Lutheran church. She never went because her kids were too disruptive in church. When the kids got to be about 15 or 16, she stopped going to church because when you have three profoundly retarded kids, you know, they, church was just no longer an option for her. One of them ended up in an institution, and the other two ended up being the best workers I've ever had the good fortune to hire. I needed
Well,
something heavy done. I call Annie and say, "Hey Annie, could you send Buster and Fred over? I got something heavy needs to be moved.
Buster and
I need a
Fred.
load of I need a load of scrap. I need some scrap cut up and loaded. I didn't have a cutting torch. I had Buster and Fred with an axe.
I started liking somebody. That's all. I told her, I said, don't freak out or anything. I like a lot of people. I like probably two people today before I liked you, but today I like you. And that was all I needed to say to her. And she was like,
Yeah, yeah. So if a trans person shows a liking to you, you scream and run.
but she got trans children. She's got a
Well,
little
the
trans
problem is
girl.
she wants a man. She doesn't want to be in a lesbian relationship.
She's been in a lesbian relationship for about several years
Yeah, and she
now.
doesn't want another one. She doesn't want
I
another.
don't think that's what it is.
That and the fact that your background is scary.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you're an ex-lifer. Think about it. You're an ex-lifer.
You
Life
know,
without parole.
every time I get around somebody, I go, well, I was in prison for life. And I go, for life.
What did you do? I got caught with a pillowcase full of women's panties.
No, that, you know what? That they only said that that's what it was, because it just so happened I did get caught with that.
Yeah, but the cops always lie on their reports. I spent years investigating car accidents. If one of the people in the accident, usually the guy that was at fault, was a buddy to the police, and I did this in 5 different states. The cop would lie on the accident report. Yeah, I'd be measuring and photographing skid marks, measuring crumple areas, debris field, because I can tell by crumple areas the speed the vehicle was traveling. I can tell by the antifreeze state what parts got broken in the front of the car, and how fast the car was going, because I understand. I had crash test data at hand. I mean, there's a book about this thick. Every year comes out crash test data, and it tells you what collapse, what destroys where at what speed. And
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
I measure skid marks.
I watched a great football game Saturday night.
Oh,
You know
how'd
what it
that go?
was?
How that was you? That was South Carolina game,
Against Texas A&M.
which is decent school. They're a decent team.
Well, they're ranked number 10.
Yeah,
South Carolina
they're
beat the
ranked.
piss out
Oh
of them.
yeah,
Beat the piss out of them.
I watched the Penn State Ohio State game in the afternoon. I was rooting for Penn State, but I knew that they weren't going to do so well because this was only the second whole game for the quarterback. Because their senior quarterback had a broken thumb.
Anyway, vote tomorrow. Vote today, but vote tomorrow. Vote
Make
one of
sure
them
your vote is in the ballot box.
Yeah.
That's important.
Oh, and don't light it on fire.
And don't believe the polls. There's only one poll that counts, and that's the ballot box. That's the only poll that counts. Because not everybody gets polled.
The Des Moines Register is very good, is a very good poll. And they got Kamala winning by 3 points.
And don't believe anything you read, you see on Fox, or read in the New York Daily News.
Jesus Christ, no.
Anymore, the Washington Post and the New York Times, because they're owned by large conglomerates. Anything on anything that Rupert Murdoch has
By
anything
Bezos.
to do with, or any of the tabloids, or Twitter. And we got knocked off. Google is owned by Trumpers. So that's why we got kicked off. I think that's why we got sabotaged and kicked off YouTube, because we hit a nerve. Because I've been hammering at Trump since he came down the escalator. I didn't want him anywhere near the Oval Office because I knew what was going to happen. I experienced Trump realty back in '69.
Listen, this is the truth. You do not take financial advice from anyone who has filed for bankruptcy.
So many times.
Anytime. I don't pay any attention to anybody that's filed for bankruptcy.
I
If
filed
you
for
file for
bankruptcy.
bankruptcy, then you're a failure.
I filed for bankruptcy twice. The second time I had recently been a tech millionaire. I was one of the first tech millionaires.
Yeah, but Helga, all you have to do is file one time, and that's a big fuck up.
I filed twice. I filed Chapter 13 in California in 1969, and I filed Chapter 11 in 1976.
But please, whatever you do, be good to each other. We're really, this whole thing with everybody looking at people.
Reach across the party divide. Republicans and Democrats can get along. You just got to take MAGA out of the equation.
My good friends, the Grumbines, Linda Logan and her husband, Rich Grumbine, are great people. They're great people. And they really kind of believe the same things I believe, except for when you get into some of that MAGA shit and you get way down with it.
Well, it's their sources of information. You're only as good as the information you get. I've had my thumb in the internet since I was on the internet before the internet was named. I was hooking up two mainframe computers together to download prints. We had a digital blueprint machine that we'd hook the computer together and hook the computer up to the card punch, and we download the prints for the machines we were working on, because we're working in a factory. And when we ran into trouble with the VLCP, we needed prints for the VLCP, because the VLCP was a defective unit. It was
Okay.
But I've been
Okay.
playing with computers since 1972.
Okay.
I've been hooking computers up to the telephone wires since 1974. And the internet is a good source of information. You just have to consider the sources. You have to look at the sources, who's saying these words, and what kind of background do they have.
Here's something to do. Find somebody you can't stand and tell them that you love them. Now, after they've hit you in the face, it's okay.
Them.
Huh?
You forgive them.
You forgive them. Say, I forgive you.
Well, remember how Jack, when I showed up at the class reunion, stayed on the other side of the venue? He's the guy that ruptured my diaphragm, gave me a hiatal hernia, probably ruptured my spleen and gave me a fractured skull. I'd forgiven him about 20 years earlier for doing all of those things. He didn't even know what I was forgiving him for. Then I showed up at the class reunion in a little black dress, 3-inch heels, with perfect nails and perfect makeup. And he realized why he had done these things to me. And it all clicked.
Think about it.
And the poor
Think
man was
about
terrified
it.
because he had never seen such an act of courage in his entire life. Here are these two trans women walking into the class reunion.
That was the other one.
Yeah. Helga and her +1. And, Lisa, on a good day, is still a very scary person. The expression she has on her face most of the time, that you say a cross word to you, she'll bite your head off. And
no, I don't. I'm really very calm.
You're scary.
Okay.
You make scary Spice look tame.
I love people. I really do.
I do too. I love people and I love animals. And I use and there's no line between people and animals, because people are animals. And you got to understand their animal instincts and animal behaviors. You got to read Jane Goodall to understand people. Jane Goodall's Gorillas in the Mist is a very, very good study of people.
Okay, Helga, that's it.
Well, let's wrap this thing up and get this thing on the net, because we're doing this old school, because we don't have JJ with all his bells and whistles on his
where the fuck is he?
I don't know. Well, he lost his internet last week, lost his cell phone service. His cell phone service is still kind of spotty, and he still doesn't have the line speed he needs.
Because you got all those tall buildings there.
He's not down in Manhattan. He's on Long Island.
Well, see, that's part of the problem. He's not
the problem
in
is it's on
Manhattan.
an island, and all the telephone cables are underwater, so they have a chance of getting water in them. And the fiber optic service is overloaded because of Wall Street.
Sure, blame Wall Street.
Well, some of Wall Street's big servers are on Long Island, on the western tip of Long Island. A lot of some of Google's servers and a lot of Wall Street's computer equipment is, it's on the western end of Long Island, because the real estate's cheaper there.
Did it rain last night?
No, it got real cold.
Yeah, I felt it. I felt the cold.
Josh had his door open, and it triggered the thermostat to. I went upstairs to put my laundry away. I had to open the windows. It was so hot in my bedroom. But I was walking around in my bra, because I couldn't. It was just too hot to wear a shirt. It was like 95, maybe 100 degrees in my bedroom, because the thermostat was fooled into thinking it still needed heat. Upstairs was getting heat. The upstairs bathroom and my bedroom were just intolerable. So I had to open my bedroom windows to cool things down to where I could work without being suffocated.
You guys, whenever we get in touch with JJ, which will be someday soon.
Yeah, we need JJ, because he still has the reach that we don't have. We're going to be lucky to have 10 or 12 views.
Okay, here's what you look like when you say 10 or 12 views. Go.
So tell your friends that we're back.
We're back.
Copy.
This is a resurrection.
Copy, paste, and shares.
Trainwreck Resurrection.
Copy, paste, and share.
Trainwreck Resurrection.
Let people know that we're back.
Trainwreck Resurrection. And that's the name of it.
Yeah, we're Trainwreck Resurrection. And The YouTube channel is John Hikes, and it's at a girl named John. And you go at a girl named John, Trainwreck Resurrection, and it'll pop. This is episode 3.
Yeah.
We love you.
We'll see you
when we see you.
When we see you, because tomorrow's the election day.
Everything's up in the air.
Wednesday, I'm going to
I'm going to be busy
wound
hauling
control.
people to the polls tomorrow. I'm probably going to be hauling somebody to the poll today. It's the time for walking, knocking, and talking is over. People have pretty much made up their mind, but some may need transportation to the polls. Anybody you know who is kind of halfway housebound or doesn't have transportation, give them a ride so they can vote.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing since early voting started.
This is a consequential election. This needs a consequential vote.
Vote like your life depends upon
it,
because it does. Because he wants to round up and imprison or kill his political enemies. I don't like having a target on my back. I've had a target on my back all my life. I don't like it. We love you.
You know what I'm gonna do if he comes after me?
What are you gonna do? Go down fighting?
I'm gonna belt the fuck out of him.
Well, you're belting the fuck out. Getting close to him enough to belt the fuck out of him is going to be hard. But the black
He'll have to come after me before I come after him.
Black shirted thugs are expendable. They come after you. It's okay to shoot them. It's self-defense. It's okay to slit their throats. It's okay to throw them out of third floor windows. Because you may have to fight back if the shit hits the fan.
I've had to fight back my whole life.
So have I. And the Army taught me well.
Y'all be good.
We love you.
Each other.
And reach out across the aisle. These people are not your enemies. They're just misled people. And, slap some sense into these MAGA people. Let them know that they've been lied to. Let them know they've been cheated and taken advantage of. Especially the people that bought all the merch. I feel really bad for those people. We love you. Bye-bye.